definitely. So connect with the community. We're here today. Nice Friday with the fellas. We got EJ the embroiderer. We got Alex the adventurist. These guys are pretty well versed in what they do, and today we'll be able to talk to them about what they do and some of the challenges they may have faced throughout that path. But before we get started, just want to let you guys know that we have our hub opening up for One Voice, One Community here in a couple months. Make sure you guys look out for that. We also have our kitchen program that will be starting November 4th. All the kids will be able to come out and learn how to cook for 6 weeks, the program. And then we'll also have our after-school program, and we're hoping to start that by the new year. But while we're here, we're just going to get into it with these guys and talk to them about it. So you guys know, I met my guy EJ here about 4 or 5 years ago. We've been rocking out ever since basketball, business, his mom and him own Stuck Up Graphics in Mount Pleasant. If you guys are ever looking for some embroidery or any signs or any type of handling in that sorts. And we have our buddy here, Alex. I actually met him through EJ, and he's pretty well versed in what he's doing. He's an adventurist. He does a lot. So that's why we're going to be here to talk to him today. So how you guys doing today?
Great. Very excited.
Good. I'm glad to have y'all. Yes, sir. So, okay, got a mystery question for you guys. So, Alex, if you can go back and tell your 18-year-old self anything, what would it be?
I think my 18-year-old self, I would have told myself to slow down a little bit and look at the relationships that I was having with my family at the time, because that was that part in my life. I felt like I was on my own, and it was just me and the boys. It was all the friends that I had made at school and then started to make at the beginning of college that, they were the ones that made me feel like I had real family again. Wow. But, it took me 10 years to realize that my family was there the whole time. It's just we didn't have the best situation, and I needed to be a little bit more patient with all of us to get through that and, realize that I still could have a relationship with my mom and my dad, even though that they weren't together anymore. They'd split up when I was 12, and at that point I kind of just dove into the world by myself, and that's when I started becoming the adventure enthusiast. And all through that love for action sports, it eventually brought me right back to that love of life and family. And, here I am again, and back in Pennsylvania. I'm back at my mom's house hanging out with her every day, and, still see my dad and still see my sister. So it's great.
That's cool. That's nice how it connects. That makes sense for sure. So where are you from originally?
Irwin, Pennsylvania. It's about 20 minutes east of EJ, about 35 minutes west of here. Okay. And then I went to school at Norwin High School, graduated, went down to Point Park University in Pittsburgh, and then after graduation is when I moved to the West Coast.
So do you still travel a lot?
Yeah, we're actually heading to Jamaica on Tuesday because EJ's getting married next Friday. Or Thursday, actually, right?
Yeah, congratulations, bro. How you feeling about that?
I'm excited, bro. I'm really excited. I've been to the Bahamas, never been to Jamaica, so that was cool. Come on, everyone knows what Jamaica. Everyone knows what Jamaica is, So
yeah, definitely.
I'm just ready to get down there, start doing a little drinking, partying for the week.
Yeah, definitely. That definitely sounds fun. For sure, bro, for sure. So, you said you've been to the Bahamas. So let me ask, what was your favorite place you traveled?
So far, probably the Bahamas, realistically.
Okay.
I got to go down there for some hoops in 2011.
Okay.
And, that was super cool. We got to work out with a couple different trainers, a bunch of bouncing around between the islands and stuff. So
okay.
It was cool. It was super cool.
So what about you? Where's your favorite place you traveled?
I've never left the country yet, so probably some places out near Tahoe and the redwood trees in Santa Cruz and up in the Pacific Northwest. That's kind of my favorite area, from Santa Cruz, Central Coast, California, and up. It's a different world every 2 hours.
Okay, yeah, that's wild you say that. I mean, I only went to San Diego when I was all the way at the bottom. It was pretty different.
I like it there too. It's nice. It's warm.
Definitely. So, when was your first time on a plane then? Since you're a traveler.
The first time I actually remember getting on a plane, I think it was my sister was graduating high school, and I was still in middle school, and my parents had said, you know, Angela, if you get XYZ grades all throughout, you know, your life, we will take us all to Disney before you graduate high school. So it was her
What a way
senior.
to sell it.
So her senior year, we all went to Disney, and that's the first time I was on a plane.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I've never been to Disney World myself.
It's fun. Tons of pools. I just remember like coming back to the resort afterward and swimming in the pool all day, and then going and trying to ride as many rides. I love roller coasters. You know, anything that gets the adrenaline pumping.
Okay. So why do you love traveling then? What's your passion for it? Because, you know, I checked out your Instagram and stuff, you know, seeing you on mountain bikes somewhere and just in the mountains somewhere, that's just like, you know, a lot of people don't get to experience that.
When you're out there, you get this different sense of belonging to this universe and this life. And it's like you feel that connection with God even more than sometimes when you're stuck in a city like San Francisco or Los Angeles or Pittsburgh, and you know, even like a municipal city, you know, like Irwin, Pennsylvania, where there's just a ton of people. You know, you can get so caught up in the day-to-day and, you know, just rinse, repeat, trying to make that money, go to work, and then you get this frown on your face and you can't, and then everything just starts getting a little bit harder and a little bit harder to deal with. Your temper gets a little bit shorter. But then, you know, you get out there, you're on your mountain bike in the middle of the wilderness, and it's like, I'm either going to die out here or I'm going to make it back. And it's like that sense, you're just one in that moment, and it feels so real.
Wow, I can't imagine being out there, you know, feeling like the atmosphere and just seeing nothing but open space, you know, like that's definitely, it just feels like opportunity, and yeah, it feels like you have a clear mind for sure. So talk about a little bit how you met him, bro. Talk a little bit, the college life.
I can't even remember what year it was, to be 2016, maybe late 15. Our friend John Guest actually lined us up one time. We were at his house for like a little party or something like that. And
yeah.
he told me about this kid who works for Red Bull, Point Park, and blah, blah, blah. And he kind of got the hook up. So he lined me up with Alex, and we kind of quit talking for a couple of years after Point Park, and I saw he was coming back to PA and reconnected like 2 years ago, and since then I think we talked every single day since then.
We reconnected because when I came back home, me and the buddies bought a bunch of kids' Power Wheels.
Yeah.
And we stripped the axles out. We reinforced them with like metal shafts, and, you know, reinforced the drive, like the steering wheels a bit, cut out the seats, put some like just plywood so you could actually race them. And then we fit. And then we took them to the local park and did like a downhill race on the street. It was pretty cool. Yeah, like wearing like full motocross helmets, and yeah, it was fun.
What the hell? So that's something that y'all brought here. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, there's actually it's called Pandemic Power Wheels. It's on our YouTube channel.
Wow.
Yeah. on the Stage Engine channel. Plug that one.
Yeah, we'll definitely get y'all tagged. We'll make sure we put the ad in here for you. So since we're talking about that, what do you guys think that Pennsylvania needs, or what don't we have, you know, that other places have to offer?
That's a tough one. I mean, probably from my perspective, like I grew up around hoops, so I feel like basketball sort of is popular culture just in general, and that is sort of what we're lacking most of anything around here, whether you're down in the city or wherever. There's just a lack of, you know, fun, cool culture in our area, whether it's out here in Connellsville, down in Pittsburgh, wherever. But I just feel like if we were, do I know how to make that happen? No, but I feel like that is what we're kind of lacking in this area.
Yeah, in Santa Cruz, you know, they have the Santa Cruz Warriors right there, and we were going to games, and it's just like it's so much more embedded in the culture because like we don't have a pro team, you know. So like for me growing up, I never even watched it. You know, I never watched college basketball. I didn't know it, you know, anything about that at the time.
Okay, so if you could bring anything back from your favorite place, what would it be then? Since you see a lot of, again, like terrain or stuff like that, what would you say that we, you know, something that some people that don't experience, you know, on the everyday travel or just traveling period? I know that might be a hard question.
Some of these like big granite mountains, you know, like it's really cool because where I'm at is pretty close to like the San Andreas fault line. And so you can actually see like where all these tectonic plates are meeting together, and you can see all this different material, like the sandy material that's on the coast. And then right on the inside of that, it's these granite mountains. And so then when you're riding your mountain bike, you have to actually like mentally prepare and physically prepare for like the terrain change and what you have to do, different balance positions. Because one side, like on one side, you've got more rock, so you got a little bit more grip, especially if it's dry out. But if it's dry, when you hit the other side, it's just sand. So then all the corners you're just going to wash out in, you know. So it's like once you'd hit that next part of the ride, you'd like lower your tire pressure a little bit, so you get a little bit more, you know, traction through the corner.
Okay.
That sounds so crazy.
Right. I can't imagine like being on the bike having to think all of that. You know, like you just think you can ride.
Like, math and equations in your head. Oh man, let me take out some tire pressure.
Right.
Gotta
Right.
lean this turn at 45 degrees.
Okay, so a little bit of a turn here. So we got two entrepreneurs sitting right here with us. So I want to ask, what does a day in your life look like when you're at the sign shop and you're, you know, making something? Because I know you guys are pretty busy right now. So what does a day for you look like right now?
I'd say a typical day. So let's say we start on Monday. A typical day for me is probably just getting in there, coding up some screens for a screen print in the back, kind of just getting everything set up for the week ahead. Like if I know I got 4 jobs coming, I'm going to set up my screens, burn them as soon as I can, just so as soon as, you know, shirts get into us, I can start printing them immediately. Or let's say if it's a sign day or a banner day, I'm changing blades on everything so we know we're set for, you know, all of our cutting for the signs, or just being ready to trim banners down and get some grommets in them, just stuff like that. Just kind of basic organization at the beginning of the week to just prepare yourself.
Right.
And then on the work day, you get in there and just get as much done, get as much done as you can. And you see the dogs in there too. So
Right.
they got their jobs too. They're in there working security and stuff. But
How does it feel being like a local mogul? Because people are always calling y'all, you know. Again, I got to see how busy y'all were, and it's like, you know, how does it feel to, you know, it's great to be busy, but you're always busy. So how does that feel?
I would 110% not say mogul. At all. But it is cool to play like a big part in the community because like it feels good to be, you know, tell people they feel like they can rely on you. You know what I mean? So if someone comes to you and, oh, hey, we need to hurry up and get this for whatever, we got a birthday party coming, or we got, you know, so we lost a family member. You know, like we can play a role for people in a lot of events, good and bad, and whether we're able to make a bad one better or a good one better, or just to make something easier for someone in general. It's just, we like to play that role of helping people get to that next level. So it's cool to, you know, people understand that too. So it's a little two-way street, and they understand we're there to help, not to, you know, steal a bunch of money off you and never see you again, you know? Yeah,
that's understandable. So do you have any goals in the next 5 to 10 years for Stuck Up Graphics?
Absolutely. I actually just split off the screen printing half from Stuck Up. So it's still under the same roof, but that is pressure printing now. So that is my company.
Congrats, man. Congrats.
Appreciate you. So with that, I don't do much of the design work myself.
Okay.
So that comes from her half. And that's my next step, is I just got to step into some of the design stuff. And I don't like computers, so it feels like too much work, but I'm going to get the iPad and work on Procreate a little bit, so it feels a little more like, you know, just a creative outflow of energy, rather than feeling like I got to sit down and work, you know. So I like feeling like I'm doing something with my hands and enjoying what I'm doing, so I don't, you know, I ain't roughing it every day.
Yeah, definitely. I feel that for sure.
So definitely I'd say just working on some artwork and designing some more.
Okay, that's nice to hear. Nice to hear. So, Alex, what is a day in a director of success? I'm sorry, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so I'm the director of client success for a marketing and branding firm called Stoked. We are based in Richmond, Virginia. We're a top 100 U.S. marketing firm, and the days they're a little bit different. So I get up in the morning, I go and I start checking our communication channels with the clients, see does anybody need anything emergent, did anything come in last night, you know, that I didn't see.
Right.
From there, you know, handle all those fires, double check in with the boss. We always hop on a phone call every single day. and we just go over like, hey, this is what you got to do. This is what I'm working on. This is what the other employees are working on. And then I go into the management side of like the back end software, and that's like each client has their own folder, and it shows like every single step in the process of what we do, and we track our time on it, and there's change the due dates. And it took me a couple months to actually like fill out this program with all our information and set it up properly and make sure everybody was getting their notifications. And now it's at the point, so it's just we're churning through websites for clients, we're doing social media for clients, we're doing paid advertising, paid search. It's just depends on what that client needs. You know, some people come to us and they say, hey, we don't have a brand logo, we don't even know the name of the brand, but this is our idea. Can you help us start from the beginning and go all the way from A to Z? And then other times we have big name clients that come in and they say, here's our brand assets, here's everything you got to follow, here's the non-disclosures so you can't talk about it, and do this campaign, you know, so.
Okay. So can I ask, what type of businesses do you guys get? Is it any type of business, or is there a certain type of specific that you guys deal with?
I guess that kind of just depends on what the client needs, and whenever we do, you know, a complimentary kickoff call, just kind of seeing if we're a good fit for each other, you know, and that's whenever we take things deeper than just like what your brand is. We see how like you interact with your brand. How seriously do you take your brand? Do we think you're actually ready to take that step? And we've got clients. We have a ton of portfolio items on the website that you can check out. We have clients like Coldwell Banker, where we're doing current social media for them. And then we have a client called Coho RV, which is an RV and marina that's on the coast of Oregon. And they had us help build their website and then integrate with their booking feature, you know? And so it just depends on that client and, you know, who manages that client. We want to make sure that they have the heart and soul of the brand too, because there's, you know, we've been in this business a long time, and sometimes clients come in and next thing you know is it's been 6 months and they still haven't gotten back to you on the thing that you needed to take the next step.
Right.
And so from an upper management perspective, that's where it just comes in, just like fielding clients pretty well to make sure that we work with people that are going to be a good fit, and we can help them move the needle, and they can also help develop our skills.
So can I ask, how did you get into that position that you do?
Yeah, so during coronavirus, I actually, at the time, right before the pandemic lockdown, I was one of the head parkour coaches at a place called The Cave in Marin County, as well as the world's largest Ninja Warrior school in Richmond, California, called Traverse Fitness. I was also doing digital marketing for both of those companies. And first day of lockdown, I broke my foot doing a front flip off of a loading dock, filming a commercial for one of the schools.
Parkour.
No, that just is his luck, like. But he is really about the parkour stuff. Like he is.
That's wild, bro.
He is for real.
And so I had a foot surgery. During that surgery, I was in a boot. I started riding bikes still, even with like a 2-inch screw in my foot. And since the gyms were all shut down, we went on to unemployment. And at that point, I said, I'm going to get out of the apartment I was in, and I'll go back to my mom's house in Pennsylvania for just a couple months, see what happens. And then when I'm ready, I'll go back out.
Right.
So I drove all the way back out here, and I have one of my best friends. His name's Stone. He works in the cannabis space out in California. He manages, 10 plus different companies and their marketing strategy. So it's a pretty big business out there. He called me. He said, "Hey, can you do me a favor?" I was like, "Whatever it is, brother, name it." He said, "This guy might be able to help you with some of your medical credit stuff. You should link up with him. He's in Pittsburgh." This guy wound up asking me, like, I linked up with him. He helped me out with some of that medical debt. And then he asked me if I could do him a favor. He said, "Can you drive me to Virginia? Because I want to meet this guy that spoke at a conference that I was at," which is, his name is Mike Metzger, which is my current boss now. And I said, "For sure, man. I'll drive you down there." So when we went down there, the boss and I actually kicked off, really well. And I've been working with him for over 1.5 years now.
That's pretty cool, man. That's a nice story for sure. Like, people always think, you get somewhere far just by easy, but you're being a good dude, making things happen for other people, and you found a career. So
you just gotta follow the love, man. That's where it comes down to. Like, you can see it, you can read it, and you can feel it, and I think that's just what it's about.
So what made you choose marketing? That's like a pretty lucrative field. I mean, you could have chose anything.
Well, I was originally going to school for intelligence and national security at Point Park. I had a full ride, and I wound up getting linked up with this guy that worked at Red Bull, and I looked up to him like a mentor, and he said, man, you should try to take some marketing classes because you're really passionate, you're really good at what you do, and I think maybe you don't want to work for the CIA. I think you might have different beliefs, as like what the government says. And I took a bunch of different classes, realized, oh, you know what, I kind of like this stuff, and that's when I switched to marketing. But then my junior year, I became the student brand ambassador for Red Bull. And that's like how I got linked up with EJ, because my boy John linked me up with him because EJ was on the basketball team. So then I was trying to bring Red Bull to EJ so he could take it with the basketball team. So it could be, a nice event, have them get some Red Bull. They get stoked out on the brand. The people see the athletes drinking the Red Bull. It's,
right.
It's just good marketing. And from there, that's when I was like, okay, marketing is my passion. Like, I like this. I'm good at this. And I like marketing. Action sports is my passion. And I said, I'm going to figure out a way to do both. And ever since, my junior year of college, I said, like, I'm going to do something in this field, and I'm going to be able to work in all these adventures and get paid for it. And then at the same time, you got to be able to show that to other people.
Right.
Because you might be able to go on the most cool, badass adventure, but unfortunately, you didn't know how to share that with somebody else. And so nobody will ever know, and you won't be able to grow with that. You'll have the memory for yourself, which is great. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But at the same time, I've realized when somebody else sees some of these videos and they send us a message like, "Man, where is this? I want to go. You got me stoked out to try this now. How did you do that backflip? Where? It just creates that community, and social media is such a powerful tool, and it can be used for love. So I feel like that marketing, it just kind of like all links together as one.
Definitely. So can I ask, is that trademark Stoked with a Q? Is that trademark?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's pretty cool.
STOQD.com.
Yes, nice. I appreciate that. We'll definitely get you put up here for sure. We'll have it up. So let me ask, do you think every business needs a marketing specialist?
Yes and no. But he's more.
That's
he's
what
more qualified.
I wanted to ask.
I agree with him. It's yes and no. It kind of depends on the brand. It depends on the brand, what you offer, how long you want to offer the product. Do you want to sell this brand to someone else? There's a lot of factors. So, like, I have a friend that she wanted to start a puppy cleaning business, like a dog washing mobile groomer. And she was giving me the names, and I said, okay, well, you're branding this like it's yours. So, like, are you giving this to your family members when you die? Because I just like got straight to the chase. You're going to pass away. What are you doing with this when you're done? And she said, oh, you know what? I never even thought about that. Well, maybe my daughter. And I said, okay, well, that's fine. Then you could keep it as your name and just keep it in the family. But you got to just remember, at some point, you may want to give it to somebody else who may not want that name. So maybe think of something that could be more generalized in the category of just like mobile dog grooming.
Okay.
But I feel like at the same time, a lot of people have really good ideas, and if you don't have enough knowledge of like how to market it properly, a lot of people will just tend to overthrow information out there, and then you leave your customer with analysis paralysis, because then there's too many options and they don't read any option, and they just don't ever make a decision. So it's like, it depends on the person and their organization skills and where they think they're at. Because I know some people that are like, listen, I can run this business really well, but they have no idea how to do the back end, and that's good. I don't need them in the back end, because I need them out on the job sites making sure that all the employees are building the patios, cutting the grass, all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, we might have to tap in with you at One Voice, One Community, bro, for real. Because having a marketing specialist sounds real dope for sure. Like, to get all the, like you're saying, the extra stuff done that you don't have time to do that.
Exactly.
That's someone else's job. So.
Exactly. It is definitely a full-time job.
Definitely. So, I'm gonna ask you guys. So I'm kicking my butt before I ask you this, because you said don't call yourself a mogul. Okay, I like to consider my friends successful, whether they believe it or not. So, being that you guys are successful, can you talk about some of the challenges that you may have faced to get where you're at today?
Oh, me? I find that that for me, my biggest hurdle is just not feeling like I have enough knowledge sometimes for myself. You know what I mean? Because at work, if it's just me and mom in the other half, and someone asks me something, if I don't know, it's sort of, hold on, I got to get back to you. Let me check on that for you, blah, blah, blah. Which, granted, I'm going to get back to you quick. I'm going to get you what you need. But there's like that weird, like, I just wish I had it all right there all the time. You know what I mean? So I think for me, that's my biggest hurdle is just understanding you can't have it all. And it's cool if you don't.
Right.
Still. But I don't know. I just put that pressure on myself sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, bro. I can understand that.
The second one for me is the marketing stuff. I hate social media. I don't mind getting on there and just scrolling for a couple minutes, but I don't like doing all that myself. It just feels like it takes too much time to me.
Right.
And like he said, you can have the best idea for what you want to do, but if you don't get it across the right way, you sort of lose the power behind the message. And I feel like that's sort of where I get lost there. Like, I could have 5 things I want to post, but that guy's got to explain to me how to use it the right way. You know what I mean? So that's my biggest hurdle.
I mean, that's understandable. Everybody has their, strengths and weaknesses for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Being young, bro, we got time, to work on whatever we want to.
Yeah, that's what I tell myself all the time. I do too still. So I've got plenty of time to figure all this stuff out.
Definitely getting married, man. You got to pass the business off one day.
So, like, I got to be comfortable being uncomfortable with all this stuff. So it's just hard to get used to all that.
Yeah, definitely. What about you? Did you have any outstanding hurdles that you may have jumped to get to where you're at right now?
I mean, there's been times when I've been homeless. There's been times when, I had to decide, am I going to put gas in the truck today or am I going to eat? And there were, and I'm not even kidding. There were times like that over the last 6 months when I was just there in Santa Cruz, I was living in an or in a house with like 6 other people. The landlord said, hey, you guys got a month to move out. Gave us our, rent deposit back. I went and moved up to San Francisco, stayed with a buddy for a month, but then my rent was over $1,700 for a month, and I had the plug on an apartment. When I was in Santa Cruz, I only paid $700 a month to live there. Everybody now don't get me wrong, I was living in a shed. Okay,
it was a cottage. It was a cottage.
Technically called a cottage, but like it's a surf shack. It was behind the main house. I just had like a futon that folded out and my little desk. I could still use the whole house and the kitchen and stuff.
Right.
But it was like I knew where I wanted to be. I knew what I was trying to do and plant some roots down there, and I had to make it work. But then, whenever I moved out, I moved up to San Francisco for a month. I spent that almost 2 racks and said, dang, why don't I just put this towards something to own instead? So instead, I went and moved everything out of that apartment, bought a storage unit, converted my 4Runner into a home, and then I got myself a co-working office like space because I have a little supercomputer. So like I bought myself a little monthly space. I would wake up in the morning at 5:30, either somewhere by a mountain bike trail or like stealth camping, just like right in the middle of town,
Wow.
And would go to the gym at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, work out for an hour, then go to the office by 7:30. I would be making some breakfast there in the microwave in the kitchen, and then eat my lunch there too. The coworkers were super nice, and my one coworker, like she knew, she wasn't. She's a little bit older than I am, but like she knew what I was doing, and she was helping me every moment because she knew that I was trying to buy this 20-acre property in New Mexico, and then she knew that I was trying to buy the 6.2-acre property in Santa Cruz, and so they were all just like, you're not actually homeless, Alex. You could go and live somewhere, but instead you are making that sacrifice.
He's making the choice to make moves.
Right.
To make
and
the
that's
move.
what I appreciate about this guy. You know how when you get a successful person to tell you, like, oh, no, you just don't even think about it. You just make it happen somehow.
Right.
That is this guy. That really is this guy.
That's great, man.
And to top it all off, like, every day I would then get done with the office around like 3 in the afternoon, sometimes 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, because I still had to work on Stay Jonesing for a bit. We adopted 2 miles of the highway in Santa Cruz, and then we partnered with the Santa Cruz Mountain Bike Trail Stewardship Program to help them maintain the pump tracks and maintain the trails and do some marketing for them. But then I would convert that 4Runner back into a vehicle and use it for Lyft because of marketing. I would then go drive 20, 30 people every night just for $5-6 a ride. But then you accidentally pick up a CEO of a 6-figure, 7-figure company. You know, next thing you know, now you got a new client. Right. Now you have some new friends. Now you have people that are meeting you with houses and locations and lawyers. And it's like, you know.
This is all when he's still asking, hey, I need to get some shirts made so I can be giving shirts out. And can you send me stickers so I can hand them out on rides just in case anyone asks? Like, he really does this all the time. This is not for show on Instagram. He really does this.
It was choosing
wow.
And thank God EJ's the homie, so they were like, yeah, we can work out a payment plan for the stickers because, like, as I said, I'm choosing to eat today or do this. But at the same time, I've got 50 people sending me a message on my personal Instagram or TikTok or YouTube every day being like, wow, this is amazing. You saved my life. Let's keep going, and feeling inspired. I can't give this up. You know, this makes me feel alive. Like, I want us to know that we can do this. I've been in some of the darkest places you could ever imagine. And when you get yourself out of there, it's our duty to get others out too. You know, now don't get me wrong. There's a point when you can't continue to help someone. You know, everyone's got to make that choice on their own. But I think it's our duty to show them that it can be done. And it's up to them from there, you know.
You answered like 3 or 4 of my questions for sure, bro, for sure. Because it's like I was going to ask you, did you believe in manifestation? And you answered that clearly, you know, 100%. For sure. So.
Manifestation 10,000%.
Yeah.
He calls me just to tell me. There's days where he'll call me just to be like, "Hey, I just wanted to remind you, we're gonna be millionaires in 10 years." Like just out of nowhere.
And he's making that's something crazy, you know, because you're making a different step. You know, like that's wild, man. Choosing not to eat, or you know, making your brand. Like, wow. I mean, I wish I was that dedicated. If anybody was that dedicated, it's probably millionaires out there that don't even have that mindset. Like, you know, like, oh
Absolutely.
my, that's wild, bro.
Or they get there and then they lose it because they get comfortable.
Yeah, definitely. Not being comfortable makes you animals at all.
Amen.
Definitely. Let me see. All right. So one thing we didn't touch on today, why I got you guys, is mental health. So, being that you guys, I mean, you know, saying that you were in that situation, so what did you do? Did you punch a punching bag? Did you walk away and you were calm and said, I can handle this? Were you know, ecstatic? How were you feeling?
All of the you know, so like in the morning I'd wake up sometimes and just feel god awful, but I also knew like, hey, if you don't go to the gym, you're not getting a shower.
Yeah.
And then you're in this mental game. You're like, do I just walk in the gym and walk straight past everybody and just go straight to the shower?
Right.
And it literally got me in this mindset like, no, just go work out. Just go work out. And then after 2 weeks of working out, I realized when I was that angry to go just throw some weights around. Like it's that endocannabinoid system that gets activated during your workouts. You know, that's why people use cannabis and stuff like that, especially whenever, you know, they have a lot of medical issues, because it helps with those things. That endocannabinoid system and working out, it's like that natural high that you can get, and you start to realize, wow, I just was able to push all that stuff out just by doing a couple bench presses,
right.
You know, doing a couple dumbbell curls. And other than that, you know, it's just like, as I say, as EJ said, like I just call people randomly, telling them, getting them gassed up, because that's literally what we need, you know. And whenever I can call a homie and just get them gassed up, hear them smile, you know what I mean? Like you hear them smile on the phone, you know, that just, it's a mental health check for yourself too, you know?
Definitely.
And so it's like, it's that, and there's this Mount Shasta hoodie that we have, you know, so like everything's connected still. Like that, this Mount Shasta hoodie, I finally started going to this, to therapy, you know, and this was like in 2018, 2018, I went to like this therapy session that literally changed my life, because I was on the verge of suicide. And I had given up. I had 17 kidney stones, was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. And this girl that I was dating at the time, she saved my life. She basically kidnapped me from Pennsylvania when I was home, took me out to NorCal, took me to a therapist that I was going there for relationship issues. She wound up like flipping the script, and I found out I was crying about my dad, you know,
wow.
My mom and dad breaking up when I was 12, you know, literally accepted it. Like that moment right there, realized, damn, this is my choice right now. I'm ready to go on. And I walked out of the therapy session, and she was doing her therapy session. So I like went across the street to this like natural preserve, and this is in the middle of nowhere in California.
Right.
But you see Mount Shasta in the distance, and I heard the dragonflies talking to me. All right, like I've got a dragonfly on my chest here because it means staying courageous even through difficult times. And I'm telling you, these dragonflies talk to me right there, and it was the voice of God coming through these things. And like I've got it on my video, like I have a video of me.
Right.
I've never shared it with anybody because I'm like, you know, you're gonna either believe me or not. But you know, but I've actually shared like snippets of it, just like
right.
Don't tell people what it's about. And now that's why we have that whole Mount Shasta hoodie, because it's like that mental health check. That's when I got it. You know.
Wow. Well, yeah, definitely.
We need each other. You know,
Definitely.
We're here to build each other up and get us through each and you know, EJ's lived so many different experiences than I have. You've lived so many different experiences than I have, and if I just keep it all in, I'm not going to get anywhere with it. You know, you might. There is a chance. I got to say that because like statistically, you might be able to make it through.
Right.
But it's way easier when you got the help from you know brothers and sisters around. You know.
Definitely. Well, I do appreciate you sharing with us today. You know, that was basically the wrap up. You know, answered a lot of questions for me today, saying you know how. You know, just speaking with one another is bringing people together. You know, that helps people out a lot. So that's what we're about with Connect with the Community. And just want to thank you guys for coming on and, you know, sharing your stories today. You will be seeing you guys again. I'm going to make sure I get you guys back on here again. Yeah. Episode 300. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Yes, sir.
So before we're done, what can we do to help this?
Yeah.
Ooh, I mean... that's what I was saying. We're just going to talk about the marketing. I mean, I think that's the big thing right there. Anything else, I'll have to get back with y'all. But
Yeah, sounds great.
definitely appreciate it.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
Maybe even do a couple free parkour sessions for the community. You know, do a couple.
Hey, I mean, if you have, man, I'm telling you, if you got ideas, bring them. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm the coach.
That
so
might be insurance liability. I don't know.
So I still am affiliated with the Cave in Marin. So if let me talk to them if we can work out a deal that like there would be some sort of payment, nothing much, but just from us. You know what I mean? I'll even cover whatever I can just so the insurance is covered. It's a $2 million insurance program. So
Okay.
you know, whatever I can do to help the community out too, I'll take care of that myself.
I'm sure that people, but I'm sure people would do something like that's something
Yeah.
that's nowhere around here. So I know for sure people would be looking for something like that.
Yeah, stay tuned for that because we didn't mention it, but that's something I'm working on right now for Pennsylvania. So
Okay. Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, yeah, appreciate you guys for sure.
thank you so much.